This is our first devlog, so it's going to be a little improvised. I'm going to figure it out as we go. And I hope to cover everything, but if I miss stuff, feel free to throw it in comments or join the Discord and message there. I'll be sure to try and answer everything as quickly as possible. To recap Youmacon, it went awesome. Like, we had a ton of fun. It was really cool to see people play the game. It was really cool to get feedback on the game, and also to hear and see people like enjoy the game, like actually sit down, get competitive, get their friends involved, make memories, have memes, have good moments, have good plays. That stuff was really cool to see. The feedback that we got was extremely positive. That too, like, meant the world to us. I'd say it was probably 90% positive, which I was not expecting. I was kind of expecting more of a like 50-50. I knew there were a lot of bugs going into it, and a lot of those bugs nobody noticed, which was awesome. That being said, there are still bugs we have to tackle now. And then the bugs that did get noticed kind of account for that 10% that maybe didn't enjoy it. I'd say, well, 5% of that 10%. The first 5%, there were people who just don't enjoy MOBAs. If you don't enjoy MOBAs, if Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, Dota 2, Smite, games like that they're not your thing, you're probably not going to enjoy Base Commander. There's just, it's a lot of similarities to those where it's a 5v5. Our game does feature top-down, and we have some stuff coming along with that, which is a surprise for later, but the style is very similar, where you're working as a team and you're trying to farm up and make impressive plays. Where we're a lot different, as I've kind of talked about this already, is we don't have turrets, we don't have lanes, we don't have nexuses. You're capturing bases instead of trying to farm and go for kills. Those bases give you the power-ups. I'm not going to give them more recap on the game itself. I'm going to try to stick to the devlog stuff. The next thing on my notes here is to go over some of the bugs that were really prevalent at Youmacon that did come up, and we are working on those. Some of them aren't even bugs. Most of them were add-on things. So one of them is we're working on adding in stat information and ability information to character items and abilities when you're in-game. You can hover over those abilities or items and see their stats. That's something we've actually had in the works for a little bit now. We just were not able to launch it at Youmacon because it would have been too buggy, and we were afraid it would cause more headaches than solutions. This is some tea because it's winter and tea's awesome. On top of that, there is the Bonko bug where Bonko gets stuck sometimes after he uses his Q. He'll get stuck in place, and we are working on figuring that out. It is a Unity nav mesh issue, and we are going to be building our own nav mesh system so that we can just circumnavigate that entirely. This wasn't a bug, this was just a request to have there be a added button where you can toggle camera to lock on player. We are adding that as well. That's a simple thing for us to do. We just didn't think it was necessary, which is our bad, because we do so much testing. We're always looking around via the mouse camera. We did not think to have something that locks on player when so many people were like, oh, I wish I could just not have to hold the lock. So silly on us, but we'll get that added, no problem. The next thing I'm really excited about is we're getting Rescilla in game. We've been sharing more and more of her stuff, and she's actually been ready to go for like a while now, but we just have not had time to sit down and polish her before Youmacon and before playtests. So we are working on getting her polished, getting her working, and then she should be deployed for the next playtest as well. So I'm very excited about her. She's a really fun character that has a mix of support mechanics, from healing to marking and bonus damage attribution things, to some very strategic defense mechanics, where she has what's called her rascal bots, and she's able to plant those kind of like little mines, but when somebody comes in range of them, they come alive and chase them down, and then if they reach them, they explode and do magic damage. They're really cool, so we're hoping Rescilla and Rascal are ready to go for the next playtest. Starting today, actually, we have officially launched our website, so that's really exciting. We've had the domain and things like that for forever, and it's not been a priority for us because we direct so much attention to Steam anyway. But we have had things kind of in the background. We've been working on them, and that is officially launched today. So check it out. It most likely will have some bugs, but it's exciting. So that kind of brings us up to speed as far as where we were and what we were addressing immediately. And now we're going to be talking a little bit about the next few development changes that we're going to be trying to implement and what we're striving for. The first thing we're trying to do is something we're calling self-sufficient. So we want the game to be totally playable, totally operations ready for anyone to access and anyone to play without any involvement from us. Up until this point, we've had to manually reset and spin up our servers, and that's just because we are not paying for hundreds of servers and things that are just going to sit dormant while our game's not active. So instead of trying to figure out our matchmaking orchestration so that people can be paired up with randoms on the fly, basically like League does, where you hop in a queue and then you're paired in a game, ideally we do want that, but it is just down the road for us. So to start, we're going to be launching with traditional player-to-player servers, where you can spin up your own servers and you can invite your friends, or you can hop into a random game and play with randoms that way. So this will allow us to get the game live sooner and allow people to play at their own pace as well. We don't want people to hop into a queue time where queues are 30, 40 minutes long, because we don't have the player base yet. So we don't want to ruin the game that way. And we also want people to feel like they have control over their own servers and their own experience. So we're going to be launching a few other things with that. But when our game goes live, we're hoping to have that be our first primary establishment so people can start playing, which is exciting. This brings me to probably my final point, which is that we are hoping to launch the game in February. Don't hold me to that, because there's a lot of things that come up that could cause problems. So February is the goal though, and we'd like to have it available as what we're calling our demo. This is kind of like it's like our alpha, but we're calling it a demo because the true alpha might feature a different map down the line. So we're kind of on the fence on some things. But anyways, so this demo we're hoping is live in February. So you should be able to check out the game on Steam, check it out on itch, and download and get playing right away. This demo will feature 2v2 or 3v3 matchups, and then it is most likely going to be possible that you can also spin up higher amount of player games if you'd like. So if you've got 5 or 6 friends and you want to do 3v3, that's great. But if you've got 10 people ready to go and you want to do a 5v5, that's open to you. This map is not technically sized for it, but it could be a ton of fun anyway. We haven't totally limit tested it yet, but we're trying to make sure that it has the flexibility and the possibility for people to make as creative games as they want. So again, February is the expected launch date for the demo. Wishlist it on Steam if you haven't yet. That's incredibly important for us. That's how we kind of get to the front of Steam, and that gets us more players and more views and yada yada. If you're interested in checking things out before the demo goes live, though, there are other opportunities for that. That includes some things like checking us out on Discord, obviously. The Discord's a great way to hear about playtests, closed beta tests, or closed alpha tests, or closed demo tests, whatever it is, we're at whatever phase. And you can get in that way. And you can also see some of the things ahead of time, like we ask opinions on upcoming characters and art styles, and we share other things like that. So the Discord's really cool. I recommend checking that out. We're kind of establishing a nice community there, and I'm happy about that. Other than the Discord, there's other things like Twitter, X, or Instagram, or Reddit. Those are also some great ways to just check us out, support us, and see what we're doing and when things are happening. Outside of development things, I mean, there's all the marketing and all of the branding and business side of things that I'm working on managing as well. But we are plugging along, and it is going really well. So I don't really know what else to say that's not going to repeat myself or get a little too boring when it comes to specifics. Again, if you have questions, feel free to hop in the Discord, shoot me a message. I'd love to answer anything that I can't, or Noise, who's my dev partner, will hop in and be able to respond to pretty much anything technical. So yeah, thanks for checking out this devlog. If you've watched the whole thing, check us out on Steam if you haven't yet.